An American private company called Colossal Bioscience has already successfully brought back the long-extinct dire wolf to life. Just like that, we've already seen in a previous video that they're planning to bring back other extinct creatures like the woolly mammoth, Tasmanian tiger, and dodo. Now, we're going to look specifically at the woolly mammoth. Let's learn about the magnificent and long-extinct woolly mammoth. This is AZ Discovery. The woolly mammoth was a large elephant that lived during the Ice Age. If you're wondering what it looked like, it's the same elephant we've seen in the Ice Age movie. The woolly mammoth mostly lived in vast grasslands and snowy regions. The woolly mammoth, although it looked similar to the elephants we see today, was different in many ways. Today's elephant itself is considered a large animal, but its height is about 9 to 10 feet. But the woolly mammoth's height went up to 13 feet. And while today's elephant weighs around 5 tons, the woolly mammoth weighed between 6 to 7 tons. That's roughly equal to the weight of a large car. When we look at an elephant, the first thing we notice is its large, fan-like flapping ears. But that's not the case with the woolly mammoth. Compared to today's elephants, mammoths had much smaller ears. And the woolly mammoth's tusks were long and curved, extending up to 12 to 13 feet. Its tusks matched its massive build and size. These large tusks were mainly used to dig through snow and also heavily for defense. And to impress a female mammoth, a male mammoth would fight with other males. In those fights, it used its tusks to show dominance and attract the female. Older mammoths, as well as baby mammoths, were protected by the larger, stronger mammoths. So, if the mammoth wasn't existed today, it would have been a gigantic, massive animal. Despite its terrifying appearance, it is said that the woolly mammoth had a very gentle nature. There are some differences between today's elephants and the woolly mammoths. For example, today's elephants have small folds of skin all over their bodies, but they don't have fur like the woolly mammoths. The woolly mammoths, however, had a special body structure to survive the harsh cold climate. The reason for this is that the woolly mammoth's body was covered with thick, long hair. That's why it's called woolly. It means having a lot of hair. This thick fur was very helpful for the mammoth in protecting itself from the harsh cold and snow. Have you noticed the beauty of nature? In cold weather, we use blankets or bed sheets for warmth. But for the mammoths, nature provided them with natural wool to cover their bodies. Their skin was also very thick, about 2.5 centimeters. Which helped protect them from the cold and the snowy environment. How the today's elephants also live in groups, and similarly, woolly mammoths lived in groups. They traveled together in search of food. These mammoths were herbivores, meaning they only ate plants. They ate things like grass, shrubs, small plants, leaves, and even tree bark. In a single day, these mammoths could eat up to 150 kilograms of food. They were healthy vegetarians. Scientists say that a woolly mammoth's lifetime was around 60 years. Back in those times, humans hunted mammoths for food. Then, they also used its skin to make clothing, just like how we use wool from sheep to make clothes today. Similarly, back then, people used the mammoth's skin to make garments. Back then, humans used the bones of hunted mammoths to make weapons. At the same time, they also crafted a musical instrument using the mammoth's tusk. It's called the mammoth flute. It's unclear whether they made it for communication or for music, but this is one of the oldest musical instruments in the world. This flute is estimated to be around 35,000 to 40,000 years old. Just like most other products, such as bone-made weapons, artistic items, and specifically those connected to decoration, have mostly been found stored in European caves. That includes the mammoth flute, which has also been preserved. Cretan dwarf mammoth. This is a species that went extinct around 13,000 years ago. The Cretan dwarf mammoth was a smaller-sized type of mammoth that lived on the island of Crete in Greece. Dwarf means small in size. This species evolved from the larger mammoths of ancient times. Its height was about 1 meter, or 3 feet, and it weighed around 300 kilograms, roughly the weight of a large donkey. How did it evolve into such a small mammoth? It was due to the unique environment of the island of Crete. This led to the species shrinking in size. It is also one of the smallest mammoth species in the world. This species went through many biological changes, the most important being the reduction in height and weight. So, if the woolly Cretan dwarf mammoth hadn't gone extinct, many people today might be raising them at home as pets. Tell us in the comments, who among you would have raised a dwarf mammoth as a pet? Ancient people used mammoth skin for clothing, and they also used bones and tusks to make tools, sculptures, and weapons. As we've seen, this shows that ancient humans not only hunted mammoths but also used their bones and tusks to create many items. And during that time, humans even drew paintings of mammoths on rocks. During this time, the world was experiencing climate change, with the ice melting and warmer temperatures setting in. As a result, humans began hunting the woolly mammoth more extensively. Due to climate change, the woolly mammoth could no longer survive. As a result, most of the mammoths went extinct around 10,000 years ago. However, some smaller groups of mammoths survived for up to 4,000 years longer. After that, the species became completely extinct. We've already made a video about the extinct dire wolf and dodo, and you must have seen it. If you haven't, check out our channel to watch it. The colossal bioscience company, through De-extinction, is working to bring back the woolly mammoth, just like they successfully revived the dire wolf. Efforts are already underway for this. If we've ever been asked about getting samples from animals, so far, we've only found bones, hair, and similar materials from other animals. This is because, after an animal dies, its body decomposes over time, and only bones remain. But in the case of woolly mammoths, it's different, because woolly mammoths lived in cold regions like Siberia and North America, so after the animal died, its body would get preserved in the permafrost, the frozen ground. As a result, it's not just the mammoth's tusks that have been found, even its flesh and other remains have been preserved. Researchers have also studied the environment they lived in, how they survived, and what kind of food they ate. The samples, which were taken from the Siberian ice sheets, were preserved in excellent conditions for around 28,000 years. When cells from these samples were inserted into a mouse's egg, biological activity was observed. This shows that the skin and hair, similar to that of the mammoth, began to grow in the mouse's body. So, since cell activity is still happening even after thousands of years, scientists believe that, through this process, some parts could potentially be recreated again. But, this effort isn't about fully recreating the woolly mammoth. Instead, they plan to create a creature similar to the woolly mammoth, an Arctic-adapted elephant, which would be like the woolly mammoth's cousin. For this, they will use the same process as they did with the dire wolf. They will perform genome editing, inserting the unique traits of the woolly mammoth into the DNA of an African elephant. So, as a result, by 2027, they plan to bring the extinct woolly mammoth back to life. They are working on creating features like thick fur and tough skin suitable for cold environments, and they are getting it ready for this process. In this effort, there are challenging tasks like embryo development and growing the embryo using surrogate elephants, which might cause delays. So, it's possible that the woolly mammoth may not be confirmed by 2027, and the timeline is not certain. If the woolly mammoth is successfully brought back through de-extinction, as I mentioned earlier, a gigantic animal will once again live alongside us. In the next 3 to 4 years, many people will be excited to see a mammoth walking around. Also, if you could bring back any extinct species, which one would you choose? Let us know in the comments. I believe you have learned a lot about the woolly mammoth from this video. There's still plenty of interesting information to discover, so stay tuned and subscribe to AZ Discovery. Bye.